So, I have 3 sewing machines in front of me, and that's quite modern. That's pretty vintage, and this one's probably vintage too, and it's an industrial. But there's nothing complicated about them. They're all thread in about the same way, just slightly different fittings. So the industrial machine's just the same as any other, and it's probably quite simple to see. So your thread comes down through a control. Whoops, let's unthread it. Now it goes down in between 2 discs over a spring. That's what puts the tension on, which can be tightened or loosened by turning that. It always needs to be controlled at the bottom, and they always go. So with my industrial machine, the thread comes down, goes through a guide, goes down to these 2 tensioner discs and in between, and pull it till it clicks. Then there's a spring, it needs to go over the top of that creates your tension. Then it needs to go back on itself, which is what this bar is for. The threads always go back up. This little piece here goes up and down when you're making a stitch. That's why it's got one of these bars on. I did once lean too close to a sewing machine and crack myself in the head with this. So that gives slack when there's a stitch being created. Then it just goes back down through the loop that's available, through the last one, and through your needle. So this dear old machine, my thread runs along the back. It goes under a hook. The tensioner discs are in there, and then it goes down through there, up through there, and there's a spring inside there, and then gets controlled near the needle and then goes through the needle. So the modern machine, the thread comes off, it gets controlled, it goes down through this gap where we do have tensioner discs. We've got little arrows all the way around, so I shouldn't really get it wrong. It goes up this slot. This is the loop that goes up and down when you're sewing. It's hidden inside there, and the slot on the right has got your tensioner discs hidden in it. But that's where they are, and they're just the same as any other machine. So we get down here, it needs to be controlled where the needle is, and then you thread your needle. As for spools, that's obviously a top loading spool. This one's underneath. And the industrial one, I don't think I can do it with one hand. Yes, I can. It's under there with all the dust. So that's the industrial one. I'll go right out of the way. So the dreaded spool. Most spool cases look the same unless they're a top loading, and most spools do. So what you need to do is put your spool into the case with the thread coming off on the top towards the right, so that when you put it through its slot, and it should click too, it's then going against itself as it's pulling, which gives you tension on your spool. Similar spool case, this one's from my vintage machine, which was my first machine, and has been a fantastic machine. Right, same principle. Spool case looks similar to the other one. It's actually bigger than the industrial one. So there's the spool, thread coming off in the other direction than where it will eventually go. When it goes through the slot, it goes back on itself, clicks. You need that click where it goes through this little tiny spring there on the top, and that gives it its tension. And then when you put it in the machine, hold this out, and then you can put it in till it clicks. So on this machine, what you have is a spool case that's already present, and all you have to do is put the spool in. But you still have to put it in the same way. So if I drop that in there, my thread's coming off in this direction, and then it'll go through that little nick and out towards the back. So now it's going against itself. The spool's turning in the opposite direction than you would expect.